Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler and welcome to part one of the September 2025 release. So why is this the part one? Because there's going to be a second part to this, right? When Microsoft actually gets their act together and releases information about this build. So as you can see, I am on the September 2025 build, right? It was available in the store, it came down. But but of course, in true Microsoft fashion of late, right? There isn't any information about it. So that's cool, right? But let's get back to here. So then, and even if you go to options and settings, options, and you take a look at the preview features, of which there are new preview features like user-defined functions, and you say learn more, it's 404. So there's that. And also the other one that I think would be interesting to enhanced DAX time intelligence, it's 404. There's just nothing, right? I don't know why Microsoft can't correctly coordinate like launches of their products each month. They've been doing it for like 10 years now. You'd think they'd have their act together, but they do not. Now a couple complaints right off the bat with this. So without any information, I had to get a little creative. All right. So here is the September 2025 preview features, and here is the August. Now, as you can see, this is how my configuration was for the August version, okay? Before I updated to September, I took a screenshot of the preview features that I had activated. And so the September 2025 visual gets installed, and it like just activates certain features that I specifically had deactivated. So it just enables them, like list slicer visual, text slicer visual, enable this Oracle thing, which I don't want any of that. And I don't want this transliquid task flows. I don't want that either. I specifically disabled it. Right. So, and then they store reports using enhanced metadata format, PBIR, right? I had that unchecked on purpose, Microsoft. So anyway, number one, if you get the September release, double check your preview settings, your preview features, because Microsoft just randomly turns them on for no reason, right? Even if you specifically have turned them off. Okay, so now, so like, I think there was somebody posted, oh, this is gonna be the greatest thing ever. I'm like, it's all gonna be preview, and then they were like, oh, I bet you want to bet, and like, oh, they'll GA something that was like from like 5 years ago or something like that. Well, pretty much nailed it. So they what did they GA'd something? Oh, TMDL view, which is like that's almost 2 years old is when that previewed. So they that one looks like it went to GA, and then this there was another one about the PBIR format or something like that that they that they also there was something else that looked like it GA'd. I don't know. Live edit. No, maybe not. Maybe that was it. That might have been it. Well, no, this one appeared. Store PBIR. Okay, so the store PBX files reports in, oh yeah, and this is a new preview feature. So preview feature, DAX defined, user defined functions of preview feature, this enhanced, where was the enhanced time intelligence, wherever that is, summary, improve, visual calculations. There was something. Enhanced time, there it is. Enhanced time intelligence, but I couldn't find it. So yeah, so basically a bunch of new preview features, and they released one feature to GA from what I can tell, which is TMDL view. Which if you really think about it, it's it's again, it's almost 2 years like that was first previewed. So I guess it's better than 3 years, I guess you could say. But the interesting thing about TMDL view is like that. I mean, I gotta believe that like less than 5% of Power BI users are going to use TMDL view, right? Because if you just go with the 80-20 rule, right, as far as report authors versus people that consume the report, you're already down to 20%, right? And then maybe 1 in 4 use TMDL view, maybe, or whatever use TMDL view, probably, right? Not every report author is gonna use it. So you're probably down to like 5% of users, probably way less than that, but let's be generous here, right? So there's that. Yeah, it's disappointing that they can't coordinate their product launches. I don't get it. You know, after a decade of doing it, you think they'd be pretty good at it, but they're not. So that's that. what was that all about? All right, so do I have anything else? There was one other thing that I kind of something that I think is a bug. And maybe, and this was in the August version too. And maybe you could argue that this is not a bug, but if it's not a bug, then it works differently than any other default value I've ever seen in my entire life, right? So, okay, so if you go to customize your theme and you come in here and you say, okay, as third element, I do this, and then fourth element, and I want it over here, right? You customize this, and then you say reset the default. It resets it to the default, all right? Like as it should. These are the defaults out of the box, Power BI, non-customized. These are the defaults, right? So when I'm customizing my theme. However, if I do this, right, and let's say this, and then I apply this, all right, so now I've changed it, right? You can see it's different. I go back to customize my theme, go bit advanced, and I say reset the default. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's like these are the new defaults, I guess. So if I come in here and like switch this to like this, and then I say reset the default, it goes back to the orange. But I can't get it back to the original default, the actual default, right? So maybe you could make the argument that that's by design. I find that bizarre. Like it should not say reset the default. At the very least, this should say reset, right? Because you're not going back to the default. This is not the default for third level elements. It's that gray. Now, luckily, you can get back to it, right? Because you can go here and you can pick. No, I don't want that. Here's the default. It even says default, right? So now, if I go to the default and I go back to customize my current theme, advanced, right now it's back to the actual default. Anyway, something I noticed in last month's release, because I don't come in here that often and mess around with this, but this reset the default's a lie. Right? That's what it is. It just resets it to what it was previously, like before you messed with it, right? It doesn't actually reset it to the default unless you're using the default theme. So I think it's BS. So anyway, I think that works different than every other default that's ever been out there. So yeah, so part two is when they actually release information. Oh, actually, let's take a look at this is how preview UDFs are. So you can go to model and there's this new thing right here, this functions, right? So this functions 0, okay? And so this is brand new, but I can't right click this. Like with calculation groups, I can say new calculation group. I can say new calculated table. I can create a new, I thought I could create a new relationship here too. Oh, I don't have any data, but anyways, I can't create measures. If I had data, I always do an enter data query, right? So 1, 2, 3, load. Da, 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 da. There we go. So now I can create new measure, right? Things like that. Still can't create relationships because I don't have two tables. But anyway, all of these things you can right click. Functions. Nope, can't right click them. So the only way to create these things is to do it in DAX query view, from what I understand. So let's see. Nope, that's not going to work. I need to get my. Oh, I thought I had this. I don't know why this thing decided to go here, go here. Let's copy this back here. Now you have to do define here. So define, convert date to epoch, whatever, epoch, whatever you want to say. Anyway, so you do this. So now you run it, right? And it basically shows an error, 104 milliseconds, right? Resolve the error to see results. The end of the input was reached. So it causes an error, but then it says update model with changes. And if you actually click this, it says update model. And so now if I go back here and go back to functions, there it is. There's convert date to epoch or epoch. I don't care how you pronounce it. Anyway, so that's how you create it, even though it just errors out everywhere, right? But okay, so then how do I use it, right? How can I use this? I can say table, new measure, and I can say date or convert. So it shows up, right? It shows up here, and I'll say now, since I gave it a date time. Enter, nope, it doesn't work. So failed to resolve name. Even though it showed up, it failed to resolve it. It's not a valid table variable or function name. Pretty sure it is. Got a valid function name. Microsoft. It even shows up here under functions as there it is, unless there's some other syntax that you have to use, and you can't use parenthesis or something. I don't know, but since there's no documentation about it, who freaking knows? Why it's broken. So yeah, so UDFs, yay. Everyone is like these MVPs are like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. It's gonna change how you write decks. Not until it's not in this state, dude. This is not impressive to me like whatsoever. Okay, not at all. Right? It's like, oh, you can create it, and then doing the creation, you create errors, but then you try to use it and you can't. So I don't know what everybody was so excited about with this release. I honestly do not. I mean, this is a miserable experience. So, maybe once we get the documentation on it, maybe this will all work, right? So that's why there will be a part two. But this is all for part one. So that's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.